That's actually kind of cute.
I hated it. I didn't like
it.
it.
Okay.
I need to rewatch it, though. Hello, my name is Steve.
I'm David.
And you're listening to Anime Plus. We are continuing our journey through the melancholy of Haruhi-Suzumiya. This week, we're dealing with episodes 19 and 20. Episode 19 is the 8th and final part of the Endless 8. As with all the other episodes, Kyon is watching baseball with his sister, gets a phone call from Haruhi to go to the pool, and then they continue through their 2 weeks of summer fun before the beginning of fall. This time, though, he is able to break out of the prison that is Haruhi's unease, unfulfilled desire. And on the second to last day of their repetitive 2 weeks, he finally breaks through his inaction and suggests that all of them get together on the final day of summer to work on finishing their homework, which appears to appease the god, because after the day of having fun and cramming and frantically finishing 2 weeks worth of homework, 4 weeks worth of homework, however much time worth of homework, he does indeed get to wake up on September the 1st and go to school in the beginning of the fall semester. Now that they have broken out of the 600 years of the last 2 weeks of August, they can move on. It's time for the Fall Cultural Festival, a staple in all slice-of-life school-based anime. Haruhi, displeased with their classroom's selection for what to do, decides that the SOS Brigade needs to pick up the slack and become memorable. In fact, they need to become winners for the Cultural Festival. And her idea is to create a movie, a indie film, if you will. But she's unwilling to get into the details of the plot. We know that Mikuru is going to be the main character, and her, Kyon, and Mikuru, after school one day, go to the nearby-ish shopping plaza, and Suzumiya successfully negotiates with shop owners to get free items that they need to use for the filming. One of them being a movie camera, the other one being airsoft 50 calibers. Kyon is very concerned with what Haruhi has promised in exchange for hundreds of dollars worth of goods, purely based upon her persuasive personality. So the Endless 8 is done. I'm sure, David, you're quite pleased with that, given your distaste of time loops.
Yep.
Like I said before, this episode of it, this final one, is what existed in the light novel that covered that arc. All the rest of it were fabrications by Kyoto.
Which I would have been fine with. If you did one episode, sure. You don't need 8.
I'll give you 3. So we got the first episode of the Endless 8 where you didn't know that anything was broken, where they just went through the motions. And then the second episode where you repeat it and learn that things are broken, but fail to break out of the loop. And then the third episode to again learn that things are broken and then succeed to break out of the loop. I'll give you that. 8 might have been too much. I think a lot of people's complaints online with the Endless 8, other than it being 8 episodes of essentially the same thing, is that it wasted space within the season where they could have told other stories. Part of the problem, though, is anything else they could have told would be stuff that takes place after the movie. Though, given the fact that Haruhi likes to, tell stories out of sequence, that isn't necessarily a problem. They probably could have fit in one more arc. They might have been able to fit in I don't know what arc I would want them to fit in. It could be the Blizzard Snowy Cabin Christmas break arc, which unfortunately is similar in nature to the remote island mystery thing. There's a really good arc where a different group of time travelers try to kidnap Asahina. There's an arc dealing with Kunikita's girlfriend, which you haven't heard anything about Kunikita's girlfriend yet, but that'll pop up. That arc was an interesting arc. I don't know, they had choices, but they laid in their bed, and, we've just had to deal with it. And at this point, we don't know if there's ever going to be any more Haruhi ever made. I mean, first season came out in 2006, second season came out in 2009. The movie came out in 2010. It's been essentially nothing anime-wise ever since then. So now we're into the final arc, the Sigh of Haruhi Suzumiya.
Yep.
Where she goes through the process of making this student film using magical Haruhi exuberance.
God powers.
Aside from the ability to unconsciously rewrite reality, I would say that the most powerful being is Nagato. But keep in mind, and I brought this up before, the Endless 8 broke Nagato a little bit. There's something wrong with her. And much like cancer, that damage is going to increase.
She loves Kyon. I'm just kidding.
So there's a story. There's what I like to consider a Haruhi fanfic called The Disappearance of Yuki Nagato, which is an entire story that is a love story between Nagato and Kyon. That does exist and is an anime.
Really?
Yep, really.
Oh, a fanfic got turned into an anime.
It's theoretically, because it's not written by the original author, and it takes place in an alternate universe where nobody is special, where they are just normal human beings.
Oh, okay.
Where Haruhi never really enters Kyon's life, and Kyon ends up joining the literature club, and it's essentially just him and Nagato. And Nagato starts to fall in love with him.
That's actually kind of cute.
I hated it. I didn't like
it.
I,
Okay.
I need to rewatch it though, because, I went into it hoping for some of the flair and
Fun.
charm that is the melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, and that was all devoid from there. It was the same characters, but Yuki obviously is not an emotionless robot. Asahina is Asahina.
Just not a time traveler.
And
Koizumi.
I don't want to say too much.
Fair.
I don't want to say too much. Maybe sometime down the road, we'll go through it. We'll see.
After we, talk about all the other things we want to talk about.
Yeah, 100%. That's like low-hanging fruit. So we only got a couple weeks left. And the final episode is going to be the movie, and I cannot wait. This arc's okay. This is fun. There's a lot of weird shit that happens in this arc. And everything we've seen so far is important to what happens within the movie. Just keep that in mind. Like, stuff that happened in the movie, bits and pieces from pretty much all of the arcs are consequential and referenced, theoretically, within the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. So I can't, this is all just leading to the movie, which I think is one of the best anime movies ever made. Sadly, it's real hard to tell people to watch it because they have to watch all of Haruhi for any of it to make sense. All right, enough of my rambling. Don't forget to check out the regular episodes of the podcast on Fridays, where we are currently going through 3 brand new shows for the season. They are Kirio Fan Club, Rooster Fighter, and Demons of the Shadow Realm. Like and subscribe if you could, that'd be nice. Hit that bell so you get notified when we have special episodes dropping. Last week, due to all the problems that we encountered with timing and technology, I squeezed out a quick little episode telling people that they need to watch the insane comedy, which is Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-chan. So check that out if you're intrigued. All right, thanks again. Check you guys next time.
Peter.